Hey, I'm Dagny, and in this video I want to share with you my experience so far in manufacturing fashion in Ghana. This includes furniture, jewelry, and clothing. Yes, your girl has been occupied. All right. Before I tell you my really juicy stories, I want to prephrase this in noting that I am sharing this to illustrate the mindset and the experience and the superpowers one cultivates with this work. First story is about this beautiful chair I'm sitting in right now. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yes, I know. Once upon a time, some months ago, I realized that I had been pinning on Pinterest a lot of photos of bamboo furniture. I'm used to bamboo furniture looking a certain way, and I was coming across a lot of images of really unique designs, from chairs to bedside or couch side tables, and bed headboards and cupboards and really cool stuff. But like the bamboo itself is really intricate designs to look like a leaf or a flower or just really cool. And I knew that we make bamboo furniture in Ghana. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I can start making that here? Yes, home decor is something I do want to expand in with Bandole Muse, and I just thought, why not start by trying to identify people who could actually create what I imagine. But being me, my first mode of operation was not, let me ask somebody who knows somebody to ask somebody else if they can make it for me. My first mode of operation was, I remember driving around Accra. There's a particular road where there's a bunch of bamboo furniture that's on the roadside and people weaving it and fixing it. Why don't I just go there and ask the folks there, or the main person, whoever happens to be there, when I come, to see if they can make my chair. And one day I did drive there and park and spoke to a gentleman and showed him the picture of what I wanted. And he welcomed me to sit down on his bench with him while we spoke about this transaction. He calls this the queen chair. Like, okay, great. All right, so how long will this take? He says 1 week. And I'm looking around and I'm taking note that there is no machinery. Like, everyone's doing stuff by hand. So I'm like, are you sure 1 week is enough time for you to do this? Because I see you do this by hand. Yes, of course. This is my work. I've done this for a very long time. Okay. Then we proceed to do the price tag dance. And I will admit my bargaining skills are gradually getting better little by little. I still am not used to automatically assuming that the price that is given is just not the price. But for this, I was like, yes, I'm going to go, and I am prepared to give another price when he gives me one price. The other thing about bargaining for me is that I really value and respect people. And I really value and respect craftsmanship. And I know that this is made by hand, and this is a skill passed down by generations and all that good stuff. And so I don't believe in haggling to the point where I'm getting it completely for free, because I think that's not fair. So I did bring down the price, but I also assume that I'm usually paying more than what others do. And so I'm grateful I'm able to pay it forward. And I hope that people who are lucky enough to get more money from me use it wisely. We agree on our price, and I pay half up front. Now, I'm not going to do the whole back and forth in this video because I feel it will get a little long, but we started out with a phone call, next week, follow up, please, next week, follow up again, please, they had malaria, next week, follow up again, please, they traveled, please, you can come and see it, please, it's not ready. So 1 week turned into 3 months. Now, For me, where this was my very, very first time creating furniture from scratch ever, and doing furniture here, I did not have a set in blood and stone deadline for this. This was my way of also experimenting and seeing if this first person I'm interacting with could be somebody I could work with. After 3 months, finally, please come on Saturday, and you can take it. Okay. And I come, and the chair that he brings out looks very different from the chair he had shown me a few months before when he said it was almost ready. And I sit on it, take note, I do not fall. This is a beautiful chair. It does look different from the photo I shared with him. It's more of like his adaptation or interpretation of the design. I'll show you what the photo looks like. And so it's grown on me. It has. I still would like to bedazzle it with beads, and I want to put gold paper or gold something and the flower eyes looking thing. But when I came to get the chair, he then revealed to me that part of the reason why it took longer than he said, because he did apologize, saying that he does feel terrible that he took up so much of my time. But one was, yes, sometimes he does travel. Other times clients will come to pick him up to do something somewhere else, and apparently he can't tell them no. And then the first chair that he made me, his brother sold it because it was, their stuff is on the roadside technically. So apparently somebody drove by, saw my chair and was like, I want that. And he was not there. And his brother just sold it. So we had to make a second one for me. I'm not sure how he did that, because it's well, technically, did you not already spend the money I gave you? So how did you get the materials to make a second one? I don't know. But that was, so then for my real chair, when he finished it, he hid it in the back somewhere so nobody would see it. Then it's time to actually take it away. And I'm like, well, I don't drive a pickup truck out here. So how are we going to do this? And he's like, okay, well, I want you to save money, so we'll attach it to your car. And I'm like, are you sure? Because the trunk isn't that great. Or the trunk isn't that big. So he was actually able to get it, this back part in the trunk, and then tie it with other bamboo and stuff. So part of it was sticking out of my car. And I was able to drive it back. I was nervous. I was more nervous that it would fall out and get damaged, because someone else would just run over it, not expecting something to be falling out. Next story is jewelry. Once upon a time, I decided to look into jewelry making or jewelry production here while I was waiting for clothing production to pick up and actually progress. I went with the mindset and attitude that I know what I want or what I would like to create, and I trust that I shall find or meet the perfect person to do that. They show me, they have some beads, they have some carvings. And I'm like, okay, and they're all nice, all very nice. But I'm looking for specific pieces to go with the aesthetic and the messaging of my business. And one of the gentlemen, because of course you start with one person and the next thing you know, there's 4 people with you. And I'm like, okay, who's who? Who are all of you in the same business? Or don't confuse me. They insist they're all in the same business. I'm like, okay. And they took note of my stones, my infinity stones. And they were like, oh, they have crystals like this too. I'm like, oh, are you sure? Please, let me see. So they take me to a kiosk next door, and lo and behold, they do have all these beautiful beads. I'm like, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So I'm taking note of the beads. I'm asking them, do they know? the meanings behind them. And one particular guy, he now steps in to do most of the talking. And yes, he knows what they mean and everything. He's explained to me where he gets them from. Most are from here, some are from Nigeria. Then I ask, okay, do you have stuff with gold? Do you have stuff? Because I've already mentioned to them that I'm looking for jewelry to sell, as in I want to purchase like 10 pieces, 15 pieces, 20 pieces. Like I'm not here just to get one bracelet for myself. That, of course, got them extra excited. So they are now, all 4 of them are coming back with all kinds of trinkets and all kinds of things to show me. And the gentleman who was doing the most of the talking, he then brings out these gold pieces that have these like really intricate carvings within them that really are so I have not seen, like I've seen something similar, but not exactly like this. I was like, I see the manifestations coming up. Like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. During that particular meeting, I got some of their beads, and then I got, okay, can you make these in earrings? Can we make these in this? He's like, you know what? Let me show you what I can do with my equipment, and then we'll see. Okay, fine. Within 3 days, okay, you can come and see what I made. Okay, great. So come and see, and he was able to do the majority of these majority of the pieces, yes, are bracelets, but he's able to make some earrings too. Really unique, exquisite stuff. Make our next agreement of, okay, I want these number of designs, this many. And then I think for that meeting, I was only focused on the gold pieces, right? Fine. He says, okay, fine. He will let me know when it's done or when it's ready, because he has to get more materials to make more. And the materials are gold and brass. And I know he doesn't create the gold and the brass, so whatever his supply chain is like, that's how the timing will be. I'm like, okay. About a month passes, and I reach out to him. Following up, how's it going? How are you? Good afternoon, everything. Okay, yes. My sister, yes. All right. How is the jewelry going? How's the materials going? Okay, there's a particular copper, a particular ingredient to make the ones that I like that he can't get a hold of anymore. And he does not know when it will be available. I'm like, okay. So I ask him, does that mean you can't make any jewelry right now? Or is it just that particular type? He's like, no, he can still do raw gold. He can still do beads. He can still do the leather. I'm like, okay. Then can I share with you some photos of the types of designs I would like to make then? That could be just the gold or just the crystals while you're waiting for this other ingredient. Sure. I send him some photos on WhatsApp. He says he'll get back to me. Then the following week, he takes note, okay, there's some things, yes, he can make, but there's others that are too complicated for him and his equipment. I'm like, okay. So then and then he shares with me some photos of what he did make of the plain gold stuff. I'm like, okay, no, I like this. Okay, can I come and see it in person? And can I also see the stones? Because I'm interested in doing more with the beads. Fine. Call me when you're coming. Okay. So I think it was a next day sort of thing. I call, let him know I'm on my way. Great. I get there. And I get out. And there's a different gentleman who's standing at my car to greet me, plus one of the guys who was with my main jewelry guy the last time I was here. So I assumed that because that other guy was with him, okay, so you're part of the same group as my main jewelry guy. So I let them know, I'm here to see, my main guy. They're like, oh, okay, no, that's good, please. Why don't you come and see some of the bags, and then you can see. I'm like, but I wanted to go. No, it's fine. You don't have to pay for anything. Just see the bags. I'll admit, I was curious. So I went to see the bags. I did not see anything I was interested in. Again, all of them were very nice, very pretty. But there's a certain uniqueness that I'm looking for. That these are not pieces you would get as just a tourist in Ghana, right? Like these are unique. That's what I'm looking for. So I said, okay, thank you for showing me. All right, I'm gonna go now to my main jewelry guy. And I'm kind of looking around for him because I'm like, but I told him I was here, so where is he? So then going to my main jewelry guy's kiosk, and of course these three men are following me, but I think y'all are the same group, unfortunately, because they're just always together, and I also don't understand what they're saying. So they take me to the first bead place that doesn't really have what I'm looking for. I'm like, no, I'm looking for my other stones. So they take me to the other one where my main jewelry guy should be, but he's not there. And I'm like, is he coming? Yes, I'm coming for him or something. And so the beads are out. So I'm looking at them, but the guy who's talking to me now doesn't know the meanings of the beads or anything. So I'm like, So I'm kind of just biding my time of like, okay, well, I guess I start thinking, well, maybe he's coming. Maybe he had to step out and now he's going to come back. Fine. So he does come. And him and his other sidekick come. And he then asks me, can I please stand over here? And he positions me so that like I'm standing behind him while he is facing the others. And he starts blasting them completely. Now again, this was not in English, but I could tell from the body language and the mannerisms and the hand pointing, he was not happy, okay? And still maintaining his positioning so that he is in between myself and them. And again, this whole place is full of men. I'm the only woman there. So they respond back to him. At first, also upset. Okay, again, I'm using context clues. I don't know exactly what they were saying. But they respond first as if they are upset too. Then he blasts them again. Then they respond, their mannerisms change, and they respond as if like, oh, why be like that? Oh. Then he blasts them again. And then now they're starting to back off and then like trying to like say goodbye to me. Now my main jewelry guy is tall and like set, like filled out. Not fat, just tall and filled out. One of those brothers who, if he is upset, you should probably just accept that you're wrong and keep moving. Do not respond, you know? Anyways. They finally leave. And then he turns around to speak to me. And it's like he's like a totally other person. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, I'm apologizing because I really didn't know. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm connecting the dots that all of this tension is due to my presence. So I'm apologizing. I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to cause a problem. I'm sorry. And he completely, no, it's fine, my sister. It's okay. It's not your fault. And then he explained to me that none of those gentlemen even own a shop here. So they're not entitled to take me to his shop. Tend to do that and cause confusion because then they're kind of like trying to steal sales from other people. And then he was extra upset because the other guy who was in his group the last time I was there responded to him claiming he didn't know me, like he didn't remember me. So that's why he took me all around because he didn't know I was coming here to see him. And I'm like, but that's not true because I literally told them I'm here to see you. He's like, yes, man, that's why I did that. I was like, oh, okay, all right. And I mean, it's not funny. It is not a funny matter. But from my vantage point in my head, it looked like, not a cartoon, but it looked like, you know those scenes where if someone is protecting you, right? So they're telling at the other person and you are behind them, you're like, yeah, what he said, yeah. That is what it looked like. I didn't do that because it wasn't a funny matter because nobody was laughing except me in my head. But it's okay. We then went right back into business, showed me the beads. I was like, okay, I want this. Show me the gold, I want this. Boom. Now it seems like he has more control over the beads than the gold because with the beads, that day he was able to finish half. And like 3 days later, he finished the other half. While the gold, he was able to finish some in a week. And then the following week was like, okay, he's done a little more, but still not finished. I'm like, okay, let me give you another week to finish that. because I don't know who's your gold person, but obviously it takes a little more time for that to be finished. That has been the jewelry experience so far. I've been working with one artisan right now, and gradually gathering my jewelry inventory, where it's kind of a collaborative effort in design, since again, it's kind of like an interpretation of what I want. But I'm really grateful that he himself also has a pretty good eye in terms of creativity and uniqueness. So because I keep on like trying to explain to people what the brand is. It's African, but it's futuristic. It needs to be really, really special looking. And he seems to get it. I'm grateful for that. And I'm so excited to when it's time, I'm so excited to share with you the visuals and the products and see how other people style them and accessorize them and stuff. The final story is on clothing. Once upon a time. Time. You got it. I started my search for production of clothing in March of this year. I had designed my collection. I had already got the tech pack made, which for clothing, I don't know if you do a tech pack for jewelry. Do you do tech pack for jewelry? Possibly. Anyways, for clothing, a tech pack is like the blueprint for your design, which enables somebody who sews to create it with certain parameters so that each one that's made should be the same. In terms of who I was searching for to work with, I'm not working with one tailor who has multiple other people to be creating stuff for. I'm working with a fashion house, a fashion manufacturer that has a team of tailors who understand how to go from tech pack to pattern to sample to production. The first manufacturer I was introduced gave me the impression that they really weren't interested. I don't really know why. Again, everyone I'm working with don't know me from anywhere, okay? But even though, yeah, they're polite and everything, it was like, but why are you giving me tasks to do that take me away from you? So the thing was like, oh, I need to get a pattern made out of my tech pack. Okay, I'm under the impression that a manufacturer does everything. So why aren't you doing it? No, you have to find somebody else to do that. Then bring it to me. Okay, do you have a suggestion of who can do that? She sends me to this other person who off the bat states that they don't really do this anymore, but since so-and-so said it, I'll come. So again, I'm like, now there's two people who are really not fully interested in doing this. Then why are we here? My end, it just felt like either people are dragging their feet, or they just don't want to tell me, or they're waiting for me to leave. It was weird. And to me, I'm like, why should I be working with somebody who can't work with me? Like, I don't, for whatever reason, no shade, no judgment, but obviously this is not a project for you. Introduced another person to do the pattern, and they create it. And at the moment, I don't know how to look at a pattern and tell whether you did it right or not. All I know is that it was supposed to be like the paper version of my designs, and then someone should sew it from that. I take the pattern and give it to this first manufacturer, who makes one of the design sample and then says, oh, you need to come and see it because there's a problem. And I'm like, what's the problem? Oh, you just need to come and see it. And then I come and see, and they're like, yeah, this pattern is terrible. Like, there's not, like, look, none of it looks like anything. And I'm like, okay, well then, who's going to make the pattern? Like, the communication was just iffy, which again, of course, makes me feel like I don't need to be working here because I don't like feeling that way. So I was like, you know what? Just put that on pause. Just put that on pause. Since you did do something, can I pay for that? Yes, I'll send you the invoice. They never sent it. I'm like, okay, never mind, moving on. I go back to the other person who created the pattern, letting them know, like, here's our pictures of what they made. They claim the pattern's not good. Guess what her response is? The pattern is great. They don't know how to sew. okay. And then, oh, I'll make it to show you that it works. I'm like, okay. And she made like one or two of them. And I was like, yeah, you see it works. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't tell which one of you are lying to me. So I'm just going to assume that both of you are. And I'm going to move on, whatever. It is a loss of time and energy and money. And we're going to keep it moving. So I will admit at that point in time, I was feeling kind of low. All right. I was feeling very alone, feeling like I'm the only person on this entire galaxy who wants to see this happen, who wants to see these designs become reality, who wants to see this whole business venture be a thing. And I understand this is business, so I'm not taking anything personally, but I don't understand why nobody actually wants to just work correctly, do it properly. I don't get it. So I continue tinkering with the visuals, tinkering with how am I going to do the website, doing things that I can do myself, while hoping I get introduced to the right person. I then get introduced to my next manufacturer. Our first order of business is, I need to get a pattern made. Okay, yeah. She says she can do it. Fine. 2 weeks. Okay. Within 1 week, she does the update. Within 2 weeks, she says it's ready. Can we create, schedule when I can come and see it? Not only did she do the pattern, she also created a mock-up of each of the patterns so I can see what their stitching is like and stuff. And the mock-up, yes, is with just plain fabric, not the fabric of my designs, but also in a very small size, so you're not using too much fabric. I was so ecstatic, oh my gosh, yes, finally found the right person, let's go! So the next mode of business from that is, okay, great. Now it's time to do a real sample. We're going to do the sample in my size so that I can try it on to make sure it actually fits the way and flows and drops and all that good stuff the way I want it to. So I'm super ecstatic because up until this point, I had been doing a whole bunch of running around by myself with people that really wasn't going anywhere. Even with the fabric, I created a print that goes on the fabric, my own unique print. And I was trying to get it made on my own. So I was introduced to someone who does batik, but doing it in batik doesn't look like my patterns. That's not going to work. They introduced me to somebody who can do screen printing, but the screen printing that he does, yeah, it kind of looks like my pattern, but it's very itchy and raised, which is not what I'm looking for either. So the fact that, oh, she can do that for me, great. And she says she knows a best screen printer to do this, great. So we start with, okay, we're going to use cotton, okay? She's able to find my colors so that we don't have to dye fabric. Okay, cool. Now, okay, let's go ahead, do the sample. How long will the sample take? Oh, it depends, but maybe give it a month. Cool. That was in June. It was late August that I got half of the sample to try on. There's a total of 8 designs. 4 of those designs, a sample was made that I could try on. All of them need corrections, which is normal. Nothing wrong with that. The communication has room for improvement. Where they're trying to set up delegating certain tasks to other people, and those other people are not doing what they're supposed to do. And so I can tell that, okay, the main woman, she's running the entire thing. So her plate is very full. So if you give me somebody else that I'm supposed to do not daily, but the feedback, the reporting back, stuff like that, okay, then I'm going to be dealing with them. I expect, oh, I'm supposed to deal with them more. While the main person will always just know what's going on, but not have to be micromanaging everybody. But the other person is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, not responding, not giving feedback. Because then, of course, I have to go back to the main person and be like, this is not working for me. This is not working for me the way we're doing it. So then, a few times with my print, she recommends that, wax print would be the best way to do it because it can be done in a larger scale and they have the machinery, et cetera, because she herself did not anticipate the screen printing to take this long. And I'm like, okay. Then she recommends that why don't we use the textiles that are already here, like at Woodine or something, instead of my print. And even though I'm open to it, like, okay, African print is nice and stuff, but again, my designs need to look unique. They can't look like anybody else because everybody else has access to African prints. So we then set up, okay, we're going to do a time where we're going to go to Woodine and see what fabrics they have and which ones maybe could go with my color palette to match. I picked 2 prints. Okay, they have a connection to find out if they have it in wholesale so we can get it. All right, cool, great, all right. 2 weeks later, they don't got it. Okay, why? Well, the way these fabrics, African print, is set up, there is no system in place yet to keep inventory updated of what prints are available and what prints are not. And Woodine works in a way of it just gives its prints to all its vendors. This is what I'm learning, okay? And the vendors then do whatever they want with the print. So they can be cutting it up and selling it in smaller pieces or bigger pieces. And then it gets shifted and off to different places. So you really, once it's set here, once it's shipped to here, you really have no way of seeing where it is. So the connection that she had to do a deal of going physically to a store to see with his eye what they have. And I'm like, that's a pity that you can't just log in to a portal and check if that particular print, how much of it is still available and what code states what store it's in or what factory it's sitting in. It's unfortunate you don't do that. So that means then that this option of using African print is not really a solution because the other half of my sample is still not made. So, okay, I then had to take this moment to take a step back because I was feeling some kind of weight and I was like, nope, let's breathe. Because the answer is already within us. I just need to listen. A part of me was feeling a little anxious due to the way timing was playing out. This collection of designs I created in February of this year. And I was given the impression, which in turn is what determined my expectations, that if I do everything in a certain way, I would be able to have my samples done in the summer and be able to launch with a pre-order situation by August. So my launch date since the beginning of this year was August of this year. But then I was constantly having to take note of how every step of the way, nobody else seems to understand that that's how it's supposed to work. Or if that's not how it's supposed to work, why give me the expectation that that's how everything is supposed to work? If I did everything on my end how I was supposed to do it, why am I left empty-handed? But the people I am working with, I don't think they're sabotaging or doing something sleight of hand. I think they do know what they're doing and they have experience in this, but then why are we not done? Why must it take so long? Why must the communication be so backwards? It was getting me feeling a bit confused. and very alone again. So I took a step back and I was like, you know what? It's okay. Let me focus on what I do got and continue building it up. I got my jewelry. Let me start taking photos. Let me start creating visuals. Let me figure out, how do I store inventory? Let me figure out this Shopify thing. Let me figure out, okay. And trusting that everything is going to blossom and evolve better than I can imagine. I then had a vision. Yes, I take my dreams very seriously. Do you take your dreams seriously? I take my dreams very seriously. And I saw my event. It was a Bandele Muse debut collection event. And it looked like it was here. And I could see my designs, I could see the people, I could see the entertainment, I could see the hors d'oeuvres and the drinks and the music and the joy and the impact that it made. And I got the sense that everything is actually going exactly as it's supposed to be. Which enabled me then to, okay, let's rearrange these priorities, because the message that I got is from that vision that all of that happened without me settling. Everything was better than I could imagine, but none of it included me just using any print or any fabric or any person, right? Which means I don't need to agree to settle just because that is the alternative people are giving me. In terms of reprioritizing how to utilize the remainder of the year. With this business model, I am trying to be like a no waste, zero waste model as much as possible. There's an endless list of how you can do that. I've decided at first to focus on packaging. If you notice, whenever you are purchasing from somebody in store or online, there's a lot of cardboard and paper and plastic involved, and you kind of throw away the majority of that. I'm trying to nix all of that. So I am creating like a canvas bag that your item comes in. I'm trying to create a fabric satchel sort of thing in it. I also would love to create an actual like jewelry box case that your design comes in, but not out of cardboard. I would like it to be made out of something else. Not sure my options are and my price point for that is. But that's producing a whole other product in itself. I think some of the bigger takeaways I've learned during this process is that proactive communication is really important. I don't like limitations being put on me. Or I can't work with people who need to be gatekeepers and hold me hostage and insist their one way of doing things is the only option I have. I don't work well with that. Because like I said in another video, I will just go ahead and figure it out myself and go do it. And I don't want to do everything alone, because you can't be doing everything alone. So in terms of my print, having a signature print really is important for a brand, if you're a brand that does prints, because it really differentiates yourself. And being an African brand where we're all using prints of some kind, it adds a certain oomph when your print is one that actually nobody else can use because it's only yours. That's also part of your intellectual property. My brand is not like Grassfields or Ophir, or there's so many brands out there that are dedicated to using African print you can get from everywhere to create your simple kaftans, dress, maxi skirt, those sorts of things. Which is why if you put all of those brands against each other, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart because they're all using the same African prints that you get from the market, that you get from Rudine, that you get from Vlisco. Not saying those prints are not nice, they are. And I definitely would use them for personal use. But as a business, I would like to differentiate myself from that. I'm developing a business where, without seeing the logo, without seeing my face, you look at the clothing or the accessory or the furniture and you can automatically be like, yeah, that's Bandolin Muse right there, right there, right there. That's Bandolin Muse. Like that is what I'm developing. And I guess that takes more time to do because it takes more time to find people who are on the same page of how important that is. Also with communication, I trust over time either the same people I be working with or any new people can be open to understanding how to work with me and how to collaborate with me. I'm very open to learning because all these people I'm working with, they've been making jewelry for so many years. They've been making clothing for so many years. You know what I'm saying? Like you all are the professionals in your niche or in your industry. But I also I'm the wizard behind these designs and this brand. But I also am sorry, that's my ride. I'm just kidding. It's not. I'm also resourceful. I also can do problem solving. I also have ideas thinking outside of the box to maneuver things and get things done. And it would be nice if we could combine that instead of it going always on how you want to do the thing. And that's it. And anything I ask for, it's, well, there's only this one way to do it and that's it. I trust it will get better over time. So I share all of these lovely stories. One as a track record for me, so I can take note a year from now, how far we've come. Also for you, if you are interested in seeing what actually goes into manufacturing products here. And what sort of mindset is required. And for a lot of it, yeah, patience needs to be a superpower, but that doesn't mean you should be taken hostage. That doesn't mean you should be ripped off. That doesn't mean you should be disrespected. It just means that it takes time. A lot of this stuff is handmade. A lot of this is dealing with people. And most people don't value getting things done. Really. So there's a variety of personalities you end up having to balance with that. So there's a few things actually I would love to hear from you in the comments. I mentioned my print, and I understand, at least from what I've heard, I understand that doing anything intercontinentally adds more time because shipment takes more time. This is why up until this point, I have been very, very adamant on keeping my supply chain as local as possible. As you can hear from the saga that I have shared with you, doing that still has got me to this point of, yes, I'm in October, and we don't necessarily have everything that we've been working on complete. But I do think I'm further along within this amount of time, let's say from January to October. I feel I am further along than what I've heard other people doing similar things here. Other people 2 to 5 years to do this. with a lot of people giving up because they felt it took too long. So I'm very proud of me, first and foremost, and I'm very grateful for everyone involved that in spite of the environment we're having to do this in, there is something to show for all of the effort that we've put in. With that being said, do you know a good person who can do digital prints of fabric? I personally am totally open to working with other Africans. I'm totally open to working with a company in another African country. But from what I've heard, I understand logistics doing that with shipment in particular can be time consuming and can possibly be a challenge. So before I go all the way in with that, do you know of, is there anyone providing that service here in Ghana? I will share some photos in one of these areas of what I'm talking about. This is not t-shirts. This is not uniforms. This is the entire yard of fabric is printed digitally or with a screen to give it the pattern that it has. Do you know anyone in Ghana who can do that and good quality and give me a good price? If you do, please let me know, either in the comments or, of course, if you feel more comfortable, you can email me, and I'll be so very grateful. Yes, thank you. Also, I would like to hear from you. What parts of this story stood out to you? Do you have any other suggestions of how I can continue to keep on the good fight during these experiences? And do you have any stories to share? Have you tried to manufacture products here? Are you currently doing that here? And what has your experience been? Or what has worked for you? Or what have you learned during the process? I'd love to hear about it, so please share with me in the comments and we can continue the conversation. I also must remind you that I cordially invite you to join the Bandele Muse newsletter. This is where all the magic continues as I am interacting with you one-on-one. Thank you so much to those of you who are a part of the Bandele Muse newsletter. And for those of you who have yet to sign up, the link to join is in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. I'll see you next time.